You're 55, staring down the barrel of another desk job winter, when a little voice says, "Why not trade the cul-de-sac for the open sea?" I've been there. Sailed from Maine to the Keys on nothing bigger than a beer can. Today, we're talking real-deal tiny sailboats, under 30 feet, that let you live light, sail smart, and maybe even outrun that retirement blues. Stick around. These pocket palaces might just be your ticket to freedom. The Flicka 20 rocks a classic long keel and fiberglass hull that's all about forgiveness at sea. Displacement around 5,500 pounds, with 1,650 pounds of ballast, keeps her stiff as a barnacle in a blow. That encapsulated lead keel bites deep at 3 feet 3 inches draft, tracking like a dream through chop while the narrow 8-foot beam slices waves rather than slamming them. Seaworthiness? She's crossed oceans solo. Owners swear by her in 50-knot gales, popping back up like she owns the joint. Best for the solo sailor or cozy couple who's all about adventure over amenities. Think retirees trading the RV for real waves. Pros: unsinkable toughness. Surprisingly roomy V-berth and galley for her size. Cons: tight headroom at 5 feet 10 inches max. Sails like a brick in light zephyrs. Buyer tip: hunt for rust in the chain plates. Early models had issues. Price range $25,000 to $45,000. Beneteau First 20, the sporty weekender that stays the night. At just 20 feet, this French flyer from Beneteau turns coastal hops into live-aboard hauls with style and a wink. Finot Conk's modern take features a lifting keel in a sleek fiberglass hull, tipping the scales at 2,740 pounds dry with 660 pounds ballast for zippy stability. Drop that keel to 5 feet 11 inches for grip, or raise it to 2 feet 4 inches for skinny water jaunts. The wide 8-foot 2-inch beam and twin rudders make her forgiving and fun, handling puffs without drama, while the low wetted surface keeps her nimble offshore. Ideal for the active senior soloist or couple dipping toes into downsizing. Easy enough for garage storage, gutsy for Gulf crossings. Pros: trailer queen. Tow her behind your truck. Lively performance that punches above her weight. Cons: minimal storage for long hauls. Outboard-only power feels exposed in rain. Buyer tip: check the lifting mechanism cables for chafe. Replacements aren't cheap. Price range $20,000 to $40,000. The Ranger 26. This 26-footer from Ranger Yachts bridges the gap between joyrides and genuine getaways, proving small can be swift. Olin Stevens' 70s design boasts a swept fin keel on a fiberglass hull, displacing 5,860 pounds with 2,050 pounds lead ballast for a solid 35% ratio that shrugs off slop. Draft at 4 feet 3 inches tracks true, paired with a spade rudder for responsive turns. Her moderate 8-foot 5-inch beam and low freeboard keep her dryish in trades, blending IOR speed with cruiser comfort for passages that feel effortless. Perfect for a couple in their golden years, craving speed without sweat. Handles like a sports car, lives like a cottage. Pros: huge cockpit for sunset yarns, sails flat and fast in 15 knots. Cons: tiller fights back in gusts. Dated electrics need updating. Buyer tip: inspect the rudder post for play. Saltwater loves to corrode. Price range $12,000 to $22,000. The Contessa 26. Jeremy Rogers' 25-foot 6-inch icon is the boat that laughed at the Fastnet storm. Your seaworthy sidekick for serious miles. The long keel with transom-hung rudder on a tough fiberglass hull clocks in at 5,400 pounds displacement, 2,300 pounds iron ballast for 43% stiffness that powers through 40-foot seas like butter. At 4 feet draft, she grips without dragging. Her 7-foot 6-inch beam narrow enough to dodge green water, but roomy below for the long haul. She's gold for the solo vet or couple chasing blue water dreams. Proven circumnavigator that rewards patience with unbreakable loyalty. Pros: tracks like a freight train. design. Bomb-proof build for offshore peace of mind. Cons: wet decks in head seas, pokey upwind in calms. Buyer tip: gel coat cracks are cosmetic, but probe the keel encapsulation for moisture. Price range $18,000 to $32,000. This Swedish workhorse at 27 feet has more circumnavigations than most men have ex-wives. Reliable as your favorite pipe. Per Brohel's fin keel design on a fiberglass hull displaces 5,070 pounds with 2,017 pounds ballast for 40% ratio, drafting 3 feet 10 inches to hug contours while the semi-skeg rudder dodges debris. Her 8-foot 1-inch beam balances volume and vice, slicing trades with a motion that's sea-kindly, not stomach-churning. Tailor-made for couples retiring to the rails. Simple systems mean less tinkering, more tropical dawns. Pros: bulletproof Volvo diesel option, surprisingly dry ride for her size. Cons: cramped aft cabin, basic galley lacks flair. Buyer tip: chainplate leaks are common. Refit with epoxy early. Price range $10,000 to $25,000. The Newport 27. The fin keel with spade rudder on fiberglass displaces a hefty 6,000 pounds, 2,500 pounds, lead ballast pushing 42% for rock-solid stability. 4 feet, 3 inches draft carves bays, while 9 feet beam packs standing headroom and settees that convert to queen berths. She's a couple's delight for weekend warriors turning permanent. Room to stretch without the yardarm. Pros: 6-foot headroom feels palatial, quick in puffs for playful sails. Cons: weather helm builds fast, outboard well floods in beam seas. Buyer tip: bulkhead tabbing delams over time, tap for softness. Price range $8,000 to $16,000. The Balboa 26. This 26-foot trailer star from Coastal Recreation is your ticket to gunk holes without grounding regrets. Swing keel in a fiberglass hull at 3,600 pounds displacement, 1,200 pounds ballast for decent righting. Drops to 5 feet for blue water bite or lifts to 1 foot 10 inches for flats fishing. The 8-foot beam aft maximizes cockpit lounging. Her heavy build shrugging chop like an old boot. Great for solo seniors or pairs preferring protected waters. Trailer her home when the mood strikes. Pros: self-bailing cockpit seats for easy, nimble underpower. Cons: tender in 20-plus knots, cabin heat traps summer sweat. Buyer tip: winch cable on keel needs annual grease. Rust kills. Price range $6,000 to $14,000. Cape Dory 25. George Staddle's 25-foot beauty is the down east darling that sails like she was born wet. Timeless for timeless souls. Long keel on fiberglass hull displaces 4,000 pounds with 1,500 pounds ballast for gentle stability. 3 feet draft threading needles while the cutaway 4-foot softens slams. Her 7-foot 4-inch beam whispers cozy, but the motion is butter smooth. Perfect for arthritic joints. Suited to the senior couple seeking elegance over edge. Think quiet anchorages with a book and bourbon. Pros: balanced helm all day, teak trim ages like fine scotch. Cons: sluggish in light air, lazarette outboard vulnerable to spray. Buyer tip: bright work demands oiling, neglect shows quick. Price range $12,000 to $22,000. The Non-Such 30. Hinterholer's 30-foot cat catch is the ultimate chill machine. Sail her solo with a beer in hand, live like royalty below. Mark Ellis's fin keel on wide fiberglass hull displaces 9,500 pounds with 3,700 pounds ballast for 39% ballast ratio, 5 feet draft gripping firm, while the unstayed wishbone rig simplifies everything. That 11-foot 8-inch beam floods the cabin with light and lounges, her catboat soul forgiving mistakes for mile-munching ease. Top pick for couples over 50 craving simplicity. Handles heavy loads without breaking a sweat. Perfect for provisioning runs to Panama. Pros: massive master suite forward, single mast ease trims from the helm. Cons: sluggish pointing, wide beam limits some slips. Buyer tip: mast step compression, reinforce if soft. Price range $35,000 to $55,000.